classic, traditional meditation pose. And we're going to start with technically the best meditation pose, or the one that the yoga text called the best meditation pose. Siddhasana. Siddhasana. You may, of course, all the time the pose at the end is the word asana, meaning the pose. And then this siddha, anybody knows the word siddha? Sorry? You may know, also from your background, cultural heritage. Siddha is technically somebody who is enlightened. People sometimes say, oh, I think siddha, I heard the Buddha. Buddha is a siddha. Buddha is somebody enlightened. Siddhi is a superpower. Yeah? Chapter 3 of Patanjali Yoga Sutra talks about the siddhis, superpower. Siddha, somebody who has a superpower, somebody who has reached self-realization. So, Siddhasana, I don't really like to translate this pose. Some people say it's called the accomplished pose, because the Siddha, accomplished person. Then I go straight to the next one. Siddhasana, most common. Well, not most common, most popular or most appreciated from the traditional text. Technically, the best meditation. Second on the list, Swastikasana. Same idea, asana is a pose. Swastika. People know what swastika is? Yes? Now, a lot of people with a European heritage would not see swastika as what it was originally designed to mean. Swastika was a symbol, unfortunately used by the Nazi party in Germany, but is a symbol that has been around for hundreds, if not thousands of years beforehand. It's still there in Bali. A lot of the time, above the front door of the house, swastika is there. It's a symbol of auspicious, good luck, prosperity. Right? This is why it was used in the late 1930s in Germany, in the Nazi party, to bring, which obviously turned out to be the awful situation as we know, but it was this idea of prosperity and good luck. Swastika. So we use that, it's called swastika sign, because the leg make a sign that looks like a swastika. Very popular pose, especially in our traditional meditation pose list. Third, Padmasana. Padmasana. Padma, everybody knows? You probably know that pose. This is probably the only one who translates. Again, translating that Siddhasana, accomplished pose. I don't like to translate it like that. Swastika, swastika, prosperity, or good luck. That's a neat translation. Keep it swastika. Padmasana, we do translate it because people know it. Give me a wide guess. Lotus pose. Thank you. Lotus. Padmasana. So I would like to think that those three are the three classic traditional meditation poses. You could add potentially, because it was described in some of the Hatha Yoga texts. Now sometimes the description of a meditation pose, especially in Garanda Samhita for instance, there are more poses in Garanda Samhita than in Hatha Yoga Pradipika. 32 poses in Garanda Samhita. Some of them are described in meditation, it's not very clear. Right? And sometimes the name is changing for something that is described as something very similar. You could potentially add here Sukhasana. Sukhasana, easy pose. What I'm adding that as a +4 potentially, because it was mentioned in a lot of traditional texts. Yeah? I'm going to start in reverse order, and I'm going to show you a few alternatives to those poses, a few variations, and you will see that the most common pose we use this day, it's a variation of one of these. Yeah. Let's start with a simple, easy pose, Sukhasana. what we would call cross leg. We can all do, if you want, practice this simple cross leg position. Okay? Crossing the legs. Why this is popular and works? Because it's a sustainable pose. You can hold it for a while, and it doesn't create much ache or pains in the body. The main issue, we will talk about it in other poses, the main issue is when your knees are not supported. Here, it looks like not supported, but the foot here is supporting it, right? Here I can keep my back straight and stay there for quite a while. Simple, cross leg or easy pose. The thing with that is two issues. First, it's not a locked position. So let's say if I go up and go up, my legs will unfold. They're not locked together. Okay? So they could move, slide. The other three legs are locked. But traditionally, you want legs to be locked, but it's not easy. So not locked.
Are they afraid somebody's gonna like pick you up or something?
No,
like,
it's a potential that you could move, you could slide. You want to spend, the idea we've got to remember is those meditation poses are meant to be held for a whole day, not only a couple of hours, right? And a whole day, you would see in the other one, for instance, the foot might move, might slide. If it's locked, we cannot move. Yeah? So that would help to be steady in a pose. Second thing on easy pose is after a while, that leg is putting quite a bit of pressure on the foot, both sides. And you will feel that it's not so comfortable. It's a good easy pose to hold for a short amount of time. It works well. Yeah. And as I said at the very beginning of the class, best pose is the one that suits you. That suits you well, stay there. Not because it doesn't look like an advanced meditation pose that is not good. But that, I would say, for up to an hour, easy. I wouldn't go for so much more than that. Next, Padmasana. Now, lotus pose, Padmasana, was commonly used at the time. You can look at the traditional text, let's say Garanda Samhita, we're studying in this 300-hour course. A lot of asana, a lot of posture use lotus pose. Right? There's a range of posture that actually use the lotus pose. Not only that we do lotus for meditation. We do fish pose with the lotus legs. We do headstand with lotus legs. There's a range of poses involving that. Let's break the myth now. As much as lotus pose looks beautiful and great, not many people use it for meditation. Right? You need a great deal of hip mobility and hip flexibility, but also it's quite strenuous for the knees. It's a medial rotation for the knees, and therefore a lot of people want to avoid this pose these days. To do lotus, it's pretty straightforward. We bring one foot on our thigh, ideally as high as we can on the thigh. As high as we can. Then the other foot goes on the other thigh. Right? Now technically, and I can recognize a good lotus pose, heels close to the belly, if not touching belly. The foot is resting on the thigh, not sliding a little bit, half on the thigh, half not. Foot should be actually resting on the thigh. I'm not going to pretend that I do a great lotus pose. This is average. It's not a great one. We want to be able to rotate the legs so that that heel comes even closer. Now, this pose, it's not comfortable for most people. When it's not comfortable, it's not going to help your meditation. And certainly with knee pain and a bit of age, I would not recommend over time to strain your knees. Why do that? So lotus pose, beautiful. If people have been doing that all their life, they've been sitting like that from a very young age, yes? Then it's easy for them. Of course they will sit like that. But it's not commonly used these days. Yeah? Remember, it's not about how good it looks on Instagram. That looks good, but it's not going to help your meditation in your head. Alternative to Padmasana, variation, half lotus pose. Only one leg is in lotus. The other one can be tucked underneath or elsewhere on the floor. Not very used either. Why would you do half lotus pose? no problem. I'll do an experiment. No problem. But it's there as an alternative posture. Lotus pose, alternate posture, half lotus. Half is called Ardha in Sanskrit. Ardha Padmasana. Half lotus. It's there because I have to put it on the list. Not a common pose. Just no need to use it. We can use half lotus for a range of asana. You can do a half lotus forward fold. You can do a half lotus standing forward fold. There's a few poses that will ask you to do a half lotus leg. Why not? Not so much for meditation. Now, here comes what's of interest and what I certainly like you to practice here. Swastikasana and Siddhasana, and we're going to see that Siddhasana has a great variation that is commonly used these days. Swastikasana. The simple way to do Swastikasana is, we can do either side. Let's say I'm going to take my left leg. Toes tuck under the knee. Right hand goes in between, grab a foot, brings it to the top. Here, I am, from my angle, I can only see the two big toes. Two big toes popping out. I know, not so easy. Worth practicing. Two big toes popping out. Swastikasana. Great meditation pose. If it doesn't work on one side, try the other side. This is sustainable, and this is lock legs. See, we talk about lock legs. Lotus is locked. Here, nothing can move. I know I use that example of somebody picking me up, but I know nobody's going to come and pick me up. But if somebody would, it's all locked. Here, nothing is moving. My big toe is here. I show you. Let's maybe do the other side. Right foot, and tuck it under. That big toe is going to pop out later. Then I bring that left hand, grab, and bring it out. Here, big toes, big toes. And it looks like, although it doesn't look so clearly like that, but the idea is that it looks like a swastika. Especially think of back in the days when this was written, swastika was really the best symbol for good luck. Swastika-san, who can do well? Not easy. Worth trying. Yes.
My issue with several of the poses, I don't know if like my anatomy's weird, but I have very underdeveloped calves right here. They're never going to develop. It's just never going to be
so
a
it's
thing on my body, and then I have very bony ankles.
Yeah, okay.
And so like, is there...
No, but that fits exactly what I said at the beginning of the class. If the pose does not suit you, then it's absolutely fine. I absolutely love when I see people meditating with a lot of experience in meditation on a chair. We have monks coming regularly. Senior monks doesn't sit like that. He sits on a chair. Meditates all day. He doesn't need to impress anybody. Sits on the chair. Meditates all day on the chair. Because he knows that's the pose that works for him. So you know what I mean by that? That pose might not work. I like swastikasana, I use a lot. I'm going to use this time to talk about the biggest issue in meditation. And maybe if I remove pillows, then of course I do that pose regularly, so I'm going to try to cheat it and show you what the issue would be. And as for you to then see and realize when we're doing not the right pose. Big issue in meditation, that's in swastikasana, is that. People there meditating. That lack of support here of the knee means that because of the gravity, the knee is heavy, wants to go down. It's attracted to the floor. There's gravity on earth. What we're doing here, we are compensating by contracting our lower back. Because of course that knee doesn't go down. Why doesn't go down? Lack of hips flexibility. That hip bone and socket joint cannot go down this way. So the knee is staying like that. This is going to create, in simple words, it's going to create back pain within 10 to 15 minutes. This is going to create back pain. No need to attempt that pose or any other pose if you end up looking like that. Yeah, no need. One way easy to correct that, first of course work on your hip flexibility. One day, that knee goes down. Yeah? From here to here, what's happening here is just my hip bone. Right? That is going down. That femur goes down, hip flexibility is there. If I don't have that and it's like this, I can put my hand, that is not good, I'm going to get back pain. I bring pillows, look what is happening, I'm here, I bring pillows under my buttock, it goes down. Even if I pretend I have not without pillow, look, as I raise my bum, the knees will go down and touch the floor, yeah? Does it make sense? Sometimes, and I don't mind, people have a lot of pillows, 2, 3 pillows, they need that, so then their knees are touching and supported by the floor. It's okay. Nothing wrong to have 2 or 3 pillows. Let me tell you, share that and hopefully you feel better about getting 2 or 3 pillows if you need. In one of my first meditation courses, I went there, I was doing a bit of meditation, clearly not so much. I have to be honest. But I was saying I do a lot of meditation. But not so much in meditation course. Person said, you want pillow? No, I was like, no, it's fine. Don't need pillow. The whole day, knee like that. Back. The day after, look, everybody has 2 pillows. Oh, I said, oh, okay, I'll take 1. I'm fine, I don't need 1 pillow. And then 2 days later, I said, oh, come on, give me the pillow. You know, and I was stupid. Sheer stupidity. You know? That shows the guy said nothing. Now, if you do that, I will say nothing. Certainly in his head he was thinking, this guy does not meditate regularly. Why? Because if I meditate regularly, I know, if I meditate in that meditation pose, you can meditate sitting on the chair, no worries. I would have known very quickly that I don't have the hip flexibility. That knee is not supported. It's going to create back pain. I didn't know because I was not doing it enough. Now I know. I do it enough. I need 2 pillows or 1 folded. It's good. When those knees supported. Now I have a better hip flexibility now without pillow, right? That knee is touching the floor. So I'm fine. Yet I'm creating a bit of an effort to stand with back strength. So I would have 1 pillow this time. It helps me. Nothing wrong with it. Swastika-san, very good. No half version of that. Siddhasana. Siddhasana is heel and perineum. Let's say left heel for now. Left heel we bring to the perineum. Let's actually lean forward, sit on that heel. Perineum is really going and pressing it. Then the other heel, bring it, so again, deep hip flexibility here. Foot goes there, little bit tucked inside. Ideally, both heels aligned or as aligned as possible. Siddhasana. You need that hip flexibility. Technically, that other little toe here should also be tucked in. So then this is locked. This is locked here, right? Create a bit of space, locked. That toe is tucked in here, locked. Heels aligned. Siddhasana. The technically best pose of meditation, according to the books. Certainly, Hatha Yoga Pradipika say, most important pose is Siddhasana. You need that hip flexibility, and if you need like that, no need. Don't do it. You have to have a knee down. If a pillow doesn't help you to have a knee down, forget it altogether. Now I come to the last one, the variation of Siddhasana. That's the most common pose used these days. I've seen a few of you using that pose already. Half Siddhasana. That heel now drops from here, it drops down. It's still somewhat aligned. The heel doesn't have to be perfect. That foot is now on the floor. Now this is not locked. Right? I can move potentially. Otherwise the other pose locked, cannot move. This I can move, but it's okay. And this helps to lower the knees. Requires a little bit less hip mobility. 1 pillow behind me, easy. Knees supported, good. Then we can stay. So half Siddhasana is a very common pose. Half, I don't translate it, so I'm going to keep it Siddhasana. Or Ardha. Siddhasana. Make sense? I make it simple. If I were you, I would use half Siddhasana. Siddhasana You can do it, right? It's not so hard to do. Siddhasana. Neck it tucked a little bit more, good. But it's hard to sustain. Also technically, that heel should also be higher and touching. The text described, unfortunately, a lot of the text was written when yoga was a male-dominated area, world, and it's written that the genitals have to be in between the two heels. So that tells you that that heel should have been higher and touching here. Yeah. And it works. I've seen people doing much better than I do because of better hip flexibility. They can twist their leg more and that heel becomes here. And that's the idea of Siddhasana. The issue is not doing it. I think Siddhasana is holding it for long. So have Siddhasana, I encourage you to use it. Have Siddhasana. Use it, it works well. If knee is a little bit like that, use a pillow, don't hesitate. Or, I also encourage you to try to master Swastikasana. Swastikasana, really good. Not so hard if you get used to it. So that would be my recommendation for you. Meditate in half Siddhasana or in Swastikasana. And none of these are working well for you? Use easy pose. Easy pose, Sukhasana doesn't work? Gonna check. Or back against the wall. That's really my strong recommendation. Please avoid lying down if possible to avoid falling asleep. There are other poses, and the manual talk about Samasana. Sama means equal or the same, so it's when the heels are the same equal. It's very similar to Siddhasana. A lot of the time those texts describe poses that are extremely similar. And lastly, I finish with that. Vajrasana, thunderbolt. Right? Classic thunderbolt pose. Not used for meditation. Great posture. But try, do a test. This is worth doing the test. How long can you really hold Vajrasana? Half hour? Half hour is doable. But more is hard. Feet are painful. We try to create that seat in Vajrasana. So big toes touching, push the heels away. So it's creating a little bit of a seat. Right? You don't really want to have the heels touching, it's sitting on the heel. You want to open, so it's creating a little bit of a seat. Yeah? That's the idea. But certainly you can do a lot better. That heel can touch the floor, I've seen. We can really open. Yet, we use Vajrasana a lot more than you think in yoga. Great pose. From this pose you can do a lot of asana. Good sign of respect. It's a great pose now. It's traditionally now being used a lot more in East Asia. Japan, a little bit Korea. Great posture. Not so good for meditation. It couldn't last hours and hours. Good? Are we a little bit clearer with meditation pose? Now the idea is to practice every day. Like I was going to say, it's like everything, but it's even more than everything else, really. It's really something that needs constant practice. And you don't see the progress. See, when you're constantly practicing forward, like you're here, and then the first day you're like that, and then wow, I can touch my finger. And then like, wow, I can touch a finger. Wow, I can touch my hand flat. You can feel weeks after week progress. In meditation pose, you won't see it. It's slowly. It's like millimeters by millimeters. That hip bone is opening up. And you will be more and more comfortable in the meditation pose. But it's quite subtle. It's not easy to, it's not an obvious improvement. It needs constant practice. And I will encourage you to practice it while you're sitting here taking those classes. Practice throughout the day. Practice whenever you want. You will see little progress. You might have noticed. But you're just going to be more and more comfortable weeks after weeks after weeks. It needs constant practice.